I'm going to show you today how to take in the side of a tulip style skirt. This could work for a little A-line, a Gore skirt, or even a little pencil skirt. But I'm going to show you, it does have a lining. I'm ironing it. It does have a lining, and I'll show you how to manage the lining also. We'll pull it apart, put it back together, and see if we have something. This is a tulip skirt and has a zipper on the side. I'm going to go ahead and safety pin where we want the waist to be. I have so many clients who complain that they have a big butt. Nobody has a big butt. These people just have small waists. So you need to just think of the cup half full. I'm doing it on this side because of the zippers on the side. But if you have a zipper in the back, I suggest that we go ahead and take a seam in both sides. So you'd pin it on both sides. If it's a Gore skirt that has the multiple seams throughout the skirt, then I would go ahead and take all that up in the back and pin it in the back on the two seams that are pre-existing. And so anyway, I'll go ahead and take this off and show you how to repin it inside out and what we're going to do to fix this to make it smaller. Here's my safety pins that I pinned on the outside so we know exactly how it's supposed to fit. I'm turning it inside out and putting my pins, my straight pins, right where those spots are. So I'll take my safety pins out. And this is where my seams will be. So this is where the pins come out once the safety pins are out. I'm going to kind of reline this to make sure both sides are pretty even. See, it looks like it was taken up on this side a little bit more than this, so I'm going to kind of even it out. Transfer that. So anyway, the side of the skirt all the way down is going to be this distance from the seam. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull this apart and show you how I do that, and then we'll get to see what happens. You could do the same thing without a lining. If your skirt doesn't have a lining, you'll just exclude this portion of the video. I evened out the pins, and here I am. I'm going to go ahead and pull out. I use scissors to get the seam clipped out. And so I can get to the inside of the skirt. So anyway, then I will show you what I do with that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark my pins on the lower piece off the waistband in the same place on the skirt portion, and this is where that's pulled apart. Then, now that I've got this marked, I'm going to go ahead and take out the serging and the seam. I'm going to come out a good distance, that way I have enough room to manage. The lining is sewn and serged to the skirt. We have to take all of this out, clip all of the serging so we can pull the lining and the skirt apart, because we have to do those independently. You can do them together if you need a quick skirt, quick job kind of thing, but the best thing to do is to pull it all apart. And of course you won't have to do all of this if the skirt doesn't have a lining. All you have to do is worry about the skirt, and we'll get to that part in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and add pins to the outside of the waistband because this is the lining. So they're in the exact spot. And this is the skirt. I have it on the lining of the skirt, and I need to go ahead and put pins on the skirt itself because these are going to be done separately. And we'll go ahead and do that so when we pull these apart, I'll be able to sew these separately. Now I'm going to go ahead and begin with the lining. I'm going to go ahead and pin it. It's about a pinky's depth from the edge. So I'm going to pin that. I sewed my seam and I serged it. Not everybody has a serger, so you could zigzag it or you could leave it and just clip the extra off to make it a smaller seam. And now I'm going to do the skirt portion itself, the skirt part, And oh, now I need to take the hem out, and then I'll go ahead and pin this and sew this and re-hem the hem. I've sewn this seam on the skirt and I've serged it, and again you could either zigzag it and clip it. Make sure you have a finished seam if you're going to launder it. If you don't, it'll fray. So what I have to do is I had to take out that hem, and I'm redoing that hem and I'm folding it back over. Most skirts have a hidden hem, so you may want to go ahead and hand stitch that. I will machine stitch this only because it's been machine stitched. So now I'm going to go ahead and pin the lining to the skirt. I'm feeling pretty good about this. It lined up very nicely. So you could see what it did. So the ugly part is going to be doing the waistband, so we're going to tackle that next. Now to the ugly part. It's doing the waistband. Maybe yours will be easier than mine. But what I have to do is these pins we're going to land with each other on the opposite side. So I'm going to flip it inside out. I left plenty of room when I pulled that out so I can maneuver around. If you don't take enough space for yourself to work in, it's going to be more difficult. So I'm going to line up those straight pins. See? I'll line those straight pins up and that seam up and pin that exactly where those pins are right there. I'm going to do that all the way across. Make sure all of it lays out flat. Because see, it's got two angles. It's coming in some because of the smaller waist. This is where the hip is, and this is the top of the waist. Gotta make sure that seam lays flat. Let me get another pin right in here so I know what the heck I'm doing. There we go. So you can see carefully. Make sure those are even. This looks a little bit smaller. Make sure those line up, because when you put them back together they have to line up. Oh, that's very good. Very, very good. And we're going to go ahead and sew it. I'm going to pull my pin out, back stitched a little bit. See, having that extra elbow room, taking out that seam pretty deep, makes it easy to sew too. You know, not working within inches, little tiny inches. You could use your big girl scissors, it goes faster. Open up the seam. There we go. Looking sweet. Pin that. You can see they meet beautifully. Flip it. And this is the outside of the skirt, the outside of the waistband, and this is going to be attached to the outside of the skirt. Line up the seams, pin, and I'm going to go ahead and sew these together. If it's an older skirt and it's kind of worn, You have to be real careful where you sew your lines because it won't match very well if you're not exact. Right across here. You can see the holes on the opposite side where the top stitching was. And I'm going to tell you, this isn't easy. A lot of times you have to do it maybe even 6 times to get that darn seam lined up the way it's supposed to. Just take it out and put it back in. You've got lining to put in. That's tricky too, making sure everything lines up. And don't put it in a bag and say, I'll do it later. Stick to it, get it done, because you probably won't get back to it because it is discouraging. So there we go. We've got it all lined up the way it needs to be. And anyway, we're going to go ahead and attach the lining, top stitch the lining of the waistband. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell on myself. I sewed that, and then what I did was I sewed all of this lining and it all buckled up. So take 2 in, make sure that you pin down your lining so you don't sew it up in the top stitching because you can't see what it's doing under there. I'm going to go ahead and sew this. Top stitch it where it was, line up. I used pink thread with pink thread. And again, the possibility exists that you may have to hand stitch this if it doesn't have any top stitching. And sometimes they top stitched right in the seam. So just reproduce what you've already seen on your skirt. Take the pins out. All the pins out. And there you go. Let's go try it on the mannequin. I'm not going to tell you this is simple. I would love to tell you that. But it is tricky. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. And all of us have different kinds of bodies, and most people do have to alter their clothes. But we ended up with a great seam, great top stitching, and it fits her perfectly.